All right, so sorry for the long title, but I felt like I had to include everything. So, why do I talk about balkanization when I'd be the least prepared for it? I think it's because, to a point, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than everybody. The idea is that the United States was never one complete entity. Whether you want to talk about religious, although you could broadly say it was Christian, maybe even Protestant more specifically. So the United States was never one thing. Louisiana and its conditions are not the same as Washington states, such as Alaska cannot be compared to Florida. These are all different interests. Different things have shaped these people. I grew up in Texas, so I'm going to be influenced by that. By driving for long hours, dealing with the heat. Used to deal with that Texas accent, all that, Now I know broadly you can say, oh, well, it's like even though you did some work in HVAC and whatnot, a lot of folks chew tobacco or something like that. Yeah, it's the same thing with sweet tea, right? Sweet tea is a thing down here in the South, generally speaking. Whereas in the North, people look at you like you're crazy. Oh, you don't have green tea? Oh, you have sweet tea. Oh, that must be awful for your body or something, whatever they'll say, right? So, it's a difference. Now I could get into race. I don't feel like going into that. The thing is it probably I'd be one of the first ones that died. I probably would. But even if I wasn't, I would be one of the folks who would just get in where they fit in, right? Whatever that means. I'm not going to go into detail. I've repeated this point before, but the thing is that, there's a lot of folks that, become leaders. In reality, they would never have survived these things if they had, done it. But they influence people, right? There are a lot of, it's like, point at people like, let's see, which leader that I don't, that isn't completely cringe should I talk about? I don't know. I can't think of any offhand, but, now, mind you, I don't see myself as a leader. I see myself as somebody talking about something that I believe will happen. And that, in my opinion, should happen. That the United States should break apart. Because we do not all get along. As I talked about in my previous video just now that I'm recording about religion. The current mainstream religion of the United States is the LGBTQIA movement. That's what it is. And acceptance of it. So if you're a lesbian, damn it, you better be accepting of transgenders or you're going to be called a TERF, god damn it. Right? So that is the current religion. And people just think, oh, well, everybody's just completely accepting of that. And it's like, no. People do it because they have to a large extent. Only a few are true believers. The fact is that the United States military, all in all, I think it's like less than 3% of the population of the military is LGBTQ at all. And yet, we have to kowtow to this small group of folks. I know. You're getting close to. I know. You know what? Take it for what it is. Read between the lines. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain it because I'm not stupid. But you know what? Use your head. Let me continue on, though. I talk about balkanization because I feel it's the only way for the situation. When I say the situation, I mean economically, mentally, religiously, spiritually. I know. Spirituality and religiosity are two different things. I know. The only way they can get better is by allowing this country to break apart, preferably peacefully. It's the only way, in my opinion. Why do you continue to say, oh, the U.S. did such horrible things, but then we'll lip service it and say, well, but we need to exist as one nation? Who are you fooling? You'll say, oh, those idiots in Mississippi, or those idiots in Texas, or those Republicans down, Well, then allow the country to break apart then, if you hate them so much. No, we don't hate them, though. We just want them to change. Shut the fuck up. Grow a pair of balls and just be honest with people. And just admit that you don't want to be involved with it. The only reason you don't want balkanization ultimately is because you'll have to pay more money for things. Because the best way, if once the country balkanizes, is that you're going to charge hella taxes, right? So if I wanted something that can't be produced in Texas, I'm going to have to pay all sorts of taxes and fees, and I'm trying to think of the word now, but yeah, basically surcharges and everything else, right? So I can get it there. So I'm going to add they're going to probably add like maybe what, $30 or $40. That's on the low end probably of bringing an item to me, right? So yeah, I don't want it to happen, but I think that it's the only way, because it will force people, hopefully, this is my idea, is that if you force people to actually stop bitching about conservatives in Mississippi, or talking about, oh, it's so awful what happened in Virginia, this and that, and forcing people to look at the folks around them to say, oh, shit, you suck too. Oh, your ideology is, I thought that we all agreed on the same things. Oh, we don't. Well, fuck you. The thing is that I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this, but you know what? I'm going to go with it nonetheless. Here we are, 9 minutes in. We gotta wrap. We gotta come to some point. The point is that balkanization, in my opinion, is temporary. And when balkanization does happen, then it will make you have to look in your own backyard. Instead of looking across the street, instead of looking down the street at your rich neighbors or what they're doing, oh, I saw Mr. Johnson was banging a hooker or something like that, or banging, or Miss Johnson was banging the gardener, whatever fucking bullshit, right? So you look in your own backyard and you say, oh, I didn't realize I had ants, right? What is that? What do I mean by that? Because I know that sounds pretty crazy. It'll force you to look at the people around you and say, this is some bullshit. I thought that we all just didn't like Trump, right? We just don't want, but you're talking about like racial caste systems and whatnot, like CRT shit. That's what I hope for. Now, maybe that's stupid, and it probably is, but I do think that's what should happen. Do I believe that it will? I don't know. But I believe that balkanization will be a temporary thing, and that some force is going to retake the whole of the country. Now, it could take could take a long time, right? Decades, centuries, who knows, right? But I feel like this is the better option, whatever that may be. Because I don't think this current federal system has a cojones to really take on all the problems. Whether it's climate change, whether it's the rising inequalities, genuine inequalities that exist, the value of the dollar collapsing, they can answer none of these questions. Does not matter if it is Democrats or Republicans, they both suck. Neither one can do this. Neither one. The fact is that we're not even at a crossroads. The crossroads was back arguably in the 1960s or the 1950s. We're so farther along of a country that is built on credit. We're just going from bubble to bubble to bubble. That's what they call it, right? Oh, the housing bubble popped, or this bubble popped. The .com bubble popped. The fact is that they're all bubbles, and this whole country is a giant bubble waiting to be popped. I kind of used some alliteration there from Tony Montana. This whole country is one big pussy waiting to get fucked, man. Waiting to get fucked, man. I can't do it. Sorry, but yeah. But this whole country is one big bubble waiting to be popped. I really do. We have seen the grids have failed, whether that is in Washington State, whether it is in the state of Texas. They failed. So we are seeing a country that can barely stand on its own 2 feet. The fact is, yeah, I think to myself, sure, it'd be great if we could all just have, get mud trains and make different communities and whatnot. The thing is, though, the ironic thing, of course, is that people have built around these communities. And the fact is that you can say, oh, suburbs are awful and all this. The thing is, though, is that you're going to ruin other people's stuff. So you're going to be damned if you are, damned if you aren't. So your grand vision is going to ruin someone else's thing. Because people adapt. They overcome, right? This country does not represent its people. It doesn't. Your state government does not represent you. Your county does not represent you. Your city does not represent you. They can give lip service to you, and you can think that, some of them give a shit, but for the most part, no. So what are you holding on to? What are you holding on to? You're either a boomer who thinks that, oh, well, if we could just go back to the time when we were all, like in the 1950s when I grew up and, everything was safe and we could have shotguns in the back of our truck and we didn't have school shootings. Or You could be the liberal type or the, progressive type who's just like, if we just got rid of the bigots and we just got rid of conservatism, then everything, it doesn't matter. People see things as they see them. And once we have to allow, and I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again, we have to allow the placeholders and the goobers who, some may be competent, many are not in government and whatnot, to let the LARPers come in. Let the goobers who think that they can recreate society into their better image, let them come up and watch them fuck it up worse than those politicians, even the incompetent ones. Let those LARPers run a government. Let them. And watch them run it into the fucking ground. All right? Let the Voschites take over a government. Let them have their market socialism. Let them have their co-ops. Let them eat their cake. Let them. And watch them blame conservatives. Watch them blame whoever else. Blame POC for being, for not accepting white folks or whatever they want to blame. They'll have their complaints and they'll say, just like any other government, failed government, well, we could have done it this way. It was just, it was this person that did it. It was, this issue, the cope. You have to allow the LARPers to be seen. Let them. Let the anarchists, let the Maoists be seen. That's the only way to save the United States. Allow the LARPers. Allow the smelliest turds in the toilet to rise to the top. Allow them to come up to the top, and then you'll know why they smell. It's the only way. It's the only way. Otherwise, you're going to continue to have these LARPers who will hide in the shadows and get support. Maybe I'm crazy. Anywho, that's all I got. Goodbye.